Hey guys, Philip Legal here with Primitive Wilderness Survival, and in today's video we're going to discuss primitive jewelry making and is it a survival skill? Hang tight and we'll find out. So a lot of people consider things such as basket making, pottery, stuff like that kind of soft skills. Now those two in particular are skills that are really useful and beneficial in a long-term survival situation or like a primitive living situation. So I wouldn't really call those two soft skills, but things such as art, jewelry making, music, I mean, would we consider those a survival skill? And I think we should. I think that they are extremely valuable to one of the biggest components of being able to survive and live long term in the wilderness, and that is the psychological aspect of things. Okay, but it goes a little deeper too. So I mean, things such as being able to make a flute and play music, or being able to produce art, they keep us a little more positive. They make it easier to endure hard situations and to stay out by yourself for a long period of time because you have some kind of companionship. By creating those things, you have an outlet. But they also do a little more than that. They connect us to the landscape. They connect us to the resources we have available around us, and they connect us to the people that were there before us. And one of the best things you can do if you want to learn to survive in an area is to figure out what the people that lived there before us did. How can we kind of recreate what they did to survive there? And art and music and jewelry and all of these things that they did from the landscape was a very important, valuable skill to them. Very important. So I think that if you open your mind and learn to connect with the stuff that's around us and learn to use it to create these beautiful works of art, for one, it puts us in a better mindset. It makes it much easier for us to stay positive, which is insanely important. It gives you that drive to want to survive, to want to get back home to something. But also it connects us to that area. It forces us to slow down, to use stuff in that area, and to form a connection. And I think most modern survivalists and bushcrafters tend to overlook how important this nature connection is. So with that in mind, we're going to jump into primitive jewelry making. Hopefully you guys can get out on your landscape, find stuff in your area, and figure out how the people that lived there before you might have created these things. And from that, you'll get the connection to that area and to the people that were there before you. And if nothing else, it'll just make it so much more enjoyable to be out in that area and to use the same tools, the same resources, the same rocks, the same sticks that people thousands of years ago in that area would have used. And that's a beautiful thing, if nothing else. So hope you guys enjoy. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is find some materials that I can use to make jewelry. So I'm going to start just picking up some different rocks. I don't want to find anything that's too incredibly hard, like these. Like this one's some kind of chert. It's going to be really hard to manipulate. I can make arrowheads out of it, but I can't make very good jewelry that I'm going to grind. So I want to find some softer rocks, but I also don't want to use anything that's too soft. Like this sandstone can be pretty crumbly. I can manipulate it a lot, but it's a really soft rock and it's going to break pretty easily. So I'd like to find something kind of in between. So I've got some stuff like this that are fairly hard, a lot harder than the sandstone, but they're not like the chert. So I'll just start grinding those on the sandstone and see if I can remove material. And you can already see that it's starting to flatten out, and then I can manipulate these pretty easily with the sandstone. Okay, but they're still hard and they're still really pretty beautiful rocks. So I can sand these down primitively without spending 20 plus hours. I can have something that's really cool, that's gonna last a while and not crumble and break like the sandstone. So after I've collected a handful of these semi-soft rocks from the creek or washout, whatever area you find them in, I want to find a big piece of sandstone. There's different coarsenesses, is that a word? It is now. There's different levels of coarseness in the sandstone. There's some that'll be much more coarse, have thicker, you know, pores, thicker pieces of sand that'll remove material faster. Then there's finer pieces like this that are much more sandy. And you can find, you know, those different rocks. If you need to really remove a lot of material, you might find one that's more coarse and work on that for a while, then come to something more like this. But I want to start just using the sandstone to shape my piece. And you can try different techniques depending on what you want to accomplish. But I'll shape my edges first, and I'll just kind of turn this into a more triangular shape. So I'm going to remove a lot of material towards the top. So once you've got the rough shape that you want for the pendant, you can either choose to leave it natural, which I'll do for this one, or if there's some stuff that you want to grind off, you can then grind the face and the back of the pendant to flatten it out and get the shape that you want on the front and the back. And sometimes they look really cool if they have some cracks or imperfections, and you'll sand the rest of it down and just that little area seems to pop after you get it wet and cleaned up. And it can make for some really cool looking pendants. Or if they already look really cool as is, you can just leave them natural. Okay, so the next step to our jewelry making is going to be drilling the hole, and this can be done before or after you shape it. This piece has not been shaped yet. I'm going to go ahead and drill it just in case I break it in the drilling process. I've got that part done. I haven't spent a lot of time shaping this. I can drill it if it breaks, because that'll be the point where it does break, is when you're drilling it. Then I haven't lost a lot of time. But if I shape it first, drill it, and then break it, I've spent a lot more time. So I'm gonna go ahead and drill this piece first. There's a lot of different ways you can do this. You can use just a sharp piece of flint or quartzite or quartz or any kind of harder rock than this. And you can literally just hold it like this and drill back and forth, which I've done a lot of. You could also take just a simple stick and haft some kind of drill bit onto it, like a piece of flint. And you could use the hand drill method, which I've also done a lot of, just drilling back and forth with a hand drill. But for today, we're gonna be going a little more high tech, what I would consider high tech. It's still Stone Age, but a really cool piece of equipment called a pump drill. So we've got a rock as our flywheel here. It adds downward pressure and weight. And then I have this handle that goes over it with some buckskin cordage here. And the way this works is I'll start by kind of getting this started, make sure I know where I want to drill my hole and that I'm not gonna it's not going to be walking around on me. So I'll kind of get that drill started. And then I'm just going to wind this up, push down, and let that flywheel do the work. So I'm just going up and down on this pump drill. So I'll go slow and check periodically, make sure my hole is where I want it and that it's not moving around on me. It's better to go slow and be careful than to break this. One thing I can do, once I start getting deeper and it starts wanting to walk around on me, I can wind this up with one hand, hold this piece with my other hand, and I can work this pump drill with one hand, which is something I couldn't do with the regular hand drill method. So you can see it's starting to want to bind, and that's because we have already drilled through it. So now I'll flip it over, and I really don't need to drill much at this point. I just need to clean it up. So I'll just take this drill out and then use my hand so that I'm careful to widen out the back side of that hole. So now we have drilled our hole through our rock. I could leave this natural as is, which it looks pretty cool, and there's a piece of jewelry, or I can shape this up on the sandstone and make it any kind of shape I want. But that's pretty much it. It's really simple, really down and dirty. Just finding rocks and using what I can find in nature to manipulate those rocks, drill holes in them, put them on either buckskin lanyards, or make yucca cordage or willow bark cordage, any kind of natural cordage. But any way that you can use the natural environment to make art, it's just going to help you connect that much more to the environment, to the people that came before it, to the resources in this environment, and in my opinion will put you a step ahead of everybody else as far as long-term survival situations without even realizing it. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. You guys can buy some of my jewelry if you want on primitivewildernesssurvival.com. I'll have it listed there, or you can just find it on Instagram or Facebook. So send me a message if you want any jewelry, and hopefully you guys enjoy these videos and can utilize this stuff and have fun in nature, in your environment. So thanks for watching.